Hey, and it looks like we are live. Man, look, it's been some changes. It's been some time. I feel like I do got to apologize just a little bit. About a month and a half hiatus in between some changes. Lions season, and now we got Detroit Pistons season right around the corner. Can't wait, man. Got that email for it. Detroit Pistons Media Day. And I thought more than ever, I told the people in the chat, shout out Willie B, that we would get a live stream or two starting this week. Got to get some things previewed, especially with Media Day and training camp right around the corner. September 29th, Detroit Pistons Media Day. So can't wait, man. And just wrapped up the first to the whistle. Used to be the Lions Weekly Update with Terry Foster and Matthew Broder. Crash Out Willie in the sound booth. And Detroit Kool-Aid, Brandon, that's what my mama called me, in the TD booth. So that's what we get the Lions gear on and everything. And obviously we support all of our teams here in this great state of pure Michigan. But Detroit Pistons, you guys already know, cover the Detroit Pistons for Woodward Sports. I cover them on Woodward Pistons. Shout out Dante151. He says, what up, though, Willie and Kool-Aid, man. It's dope to see you in the chat. I'm going to be doing more of these. Stay on the lookout as well for content. Broder and I go get some kicked off pretty cool. It's going to happen soon. But Pistons, man. Pistons. They are starting to create some buzz, man. And it seems like people are having a difficult time with where do you place them after last year? You got 2 seasons of some of the worst basketball you're ever going to see in terms of records, injuries, no cohesion. You're wondering about the young players. And then all of this, nowhere, you get this 30 game improvement. And now all of a sudden, this squad is one of the ones where you're looking at a Cade Cunningham nobody disagrees. There is no question. I remember when this platform once started, I remember through the years, there were people questioning Cade Cunningham as a star. That's not happening no more. Now people are like, he's a star. Could he be a superstar? Could he be an MVP candidate? That's where people are with Cade Cunningham. Trajan Langdon in his front office, they're doing things the right way. JB Bickerstaff is motivating these guys. Or maybe he wasn't the issue in Cleveland. But what are these guys really? And I'm seeing wide swings from everybody who believes that they are in line to be third in the Eastern Conference and can really do some damage to people who believe, you know what, they might be 6th seed at best, maybe on their way back to, not even 2, but on their way to play-in, not back to, but on their way to play-in contention. Like, there's some people who really believe maybe the Hawks, maybe the Heat, maybe some of these other teams last year who just had so much of a down year, maybe they return back. Maybe the Orlando Magic, who went out and got Desmond Bane, maybe they have a little bit of a bump too. I don't believe it though, man. But Willie B, shout out to Crash Out Willie Style. Y'all remember him of the Woo Crew of what First to the Whistle now? Yes, shout out, man. I always appreciate you giving your time to the crew, and shout out to my other guys too, man. KG, Rod Beard. Got some other people too we're gonna be reaching out to. But Matt Broder, Flannel Sam, JB Smooth. Gotta call out my guys, man. That dude, Justin Chase. All of those Woo, where we really got to see Woodward Pistons take another step. And even before that, you guys always know I got a shout out to the old Woodward Pistons Table Talk crew. And people like Sean Murphy, people like Jeff Iafrady, Stick and Joey as always, and Chad Johnson of Woodward Sports, man. So I know there's other people I can shout out, T. Foss among others, but just want to get this thing kicked off. And among that, I see Dante in the chat. I see you, Mr. My City. Let's go. Mr. Jones, let's go, man. It's dope. Yeah, we're going to be doing more of these. That's why I'm seeing the time here, 4 minutes in. That's why I'm just kind of letting it build up, letting some more and more people get in here, man. Because it's time. This is a serious Detroit Pistons team. I think about how much work has been done on this platform, how many other great content creators and media out there, how much good work, how much serious passion about the Pistons, and now we actually got a squad to talk about, and people don't know where to place them.
I think, to be real specific, the Eastern Conference is up for grabs. Let's be specific about that, because you got New York Knicks. They went to the Eastern Conference Finals, and they lost to Indiana. Now, Indiana went to the NBA Finals. Now, their leader is gone. Tyler Hasper, Achilles injury. And Milwaukee Bucks. Milwaukee Bucks, Dame Litter, Achilles injury. A lot of the Achilles injury is going on in the NBA. And it's up for grabs now. The Eastern Conference open season. You got Cleveland still standing.
Open season.
It's open season.
I got a question to ask you about.
Oh yeah, open season. Cleveland up for grabs. New York still top. Gotta be the Pistons. And Atlanta Magic probably a little bit in between Atlanta Hawks. The Pistons gotta be top 3. No question about it because their team is still there. The team is still attacked. Cade's there with the crew with Ausar Thompson getting better. Jalen Durham getting better. And you add Duncan Robinson. You add Curtis Leveland, who was a good wing, who could play the 2. He could play 3 positions. Karis LeVert.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, well, and I get it. Every GM is going to make sure that they put in president of basketball operations. I don't even want to disrespect Trajan like that. They're going to definitely tell the reasons why they went out and did what they did and why they got the players they got. And one of the things that they did talk about is being bigger on the wings, being bigger as it relates to that 3 to the 4, 2 to the 4, actually, being able to, in a pinch, switch everything defensively. And on the offensive side, both of those players are good rhythm and movement players. Karis LeVert, even a little bit more as it relates to off the dribble. And Duncan Robinson as it relates to playing off of players who can dribble and facilitate pretty well. So I do like those as some kind of making sure that we have some 3-point shooting vets who can give us even a little bit more on the defensive side. I do believe that was a savvy, some low-key good moves. I know that a lot of attention is still focused on Malik Beasley, rightfully so, because Malik Beasley went out there and did something we haven't really seen done here in Detroit, and that was that high-volume, high-percentage 3-point shooting. It was insane to see what he actually did, to the point that right now, even with Karis and Duncan coming in, they didn't make, I believe, more threes per game combined than even Malik Beasley last year. So it's going to be interesting to see how this all meshes, because I do believe that there are some things to look at in the East, though it is perceivably wide open or more open than it was initially going to be before Jason Tatum's injury. Yep. And you said open season earlier, you mentioned Dame Lillard. So you're not a believer then of Giannis being able to carry a team, as well as them going out there and getting Miles Turner, who's notoriously been a Detroit Pistons killer. Now you're talking about them being able to, the Bucks, running out huge lineups that can all shoot or facilitate or dunk or grab the rebound or something or block shots, but you're not. Where are you at as it relates to the Bucks being that team? Because the Pistons, they finished just behind them. And I do believe this. If Cade Cunningham did not do the load management to end the season, which you want him to be able to get rest, if they didn't have, it was a few little nicks here and there as it came down to the end of the season, they were giving more time to Marcus Sasser and such, I believe that the Pistons actually finished ahead of the Bucks, especially if the matchup, obviously the Knicks. But the Bucks this year, they reload a little bit differently, not necessarily what you would probably call a reload, but when you're adding a Miles Turner among some other little savvy little pieces next to a Giannis, you never believe it. Talk to me, bro.
That's the problem with that signing with Miles Turner, because you got 6'11" that could shoot. He's a stretch big that could block shots. He averaged 2.3 blocks a game. And Giannis, who's a defensive player himself, who's an all-around utility knife at 6'11", and been doing that for 10 and 11 years now, and he needs a partner. He thought Dame Lillard will be a good matchup, but it didn't gel. You see why. And you got Miles Turner, who was a rival towards Giannis doing Indiana versus Milwaukee seasons. So they go against each other. Now they teammates now. That's even more difficult in the interior for them, because both of them can shoot the ball, both of them go inside the rack, and both of them they're willing to block shots and defend the big. So that's an interior.
That's what I'm saying.
Problem.
Bro,
waiting to happen.
Yeah, you got to think from a playmaking standpoint. They have the ability to go out there and run all types of screen and rolls, and this is what I believe inspired, even so much more Trajan Langdon to go out there and bring in a Karis LeVert, bring in a Duncan Robinson who can switch and pick a lot of different pick and rolls. And I'm okay with if Miles Turner is doing a pick and roll at the top of the key. Duncan Robinson, Karis LeVert, they can stay with him if he's rolling down hill as it relates to from the top of the key. They can stay with him long enough for another big or someone to get over and help just in case a lob. And if he decides I'm going out to the perimeter, they can stay with him. And so I do appreciate that. You're talking about being able to, on a quick pick and pop between Giannis and Miles Turner, having to be able to have some type of extension, reach, length, to be able to just bother the shot enough, because the Pistons have not been able to do that. They haven't been able to do that effectively, and bigs have been able to tee off from behind the arc. And that's where I do believe the Bucks should be a team that, if you're the Pistons, you don't sleep on them. No. Even if they had a little bit of a what some people would consider a letdown season last year. I do believe Giannis, Miles Turner, the re-signings, a little bit of resurgence, Giannis feeling like, you know what, I'm him. Why are people sleeping on me? It is because of these things. He's going to have to go out there and prove that he can pull this team to a little bit different height than he's pulled some of the other squads in the past. And, you know, the other squad that is interesting to me is Orlando. I see Mr. My City. He's active in the chat, man. He says, the East is ours this year. New York is scared of us, low-key. And he said Cleveland was just riding the wave. Indiana's cooked. Boston is cooked. And he goes on. Mr. My City, man, you're talking big, boy. Stand on business. He says Orlando will rise. Atlanta will be bipolar. I agree with that. Yeah. He says, who else is there? Okay, maybe Milwaukee, but there is no supporting cast. You know what? It's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting because I agree with a lot of the sentiments that you're putting out there. And, you know, that's where it leads me to this question I have to ask you guys. As we're talking about expectations, as we're talking about where do you properly place the Pistons, there is no longer a question about Cade Cunningham. That's why we started there. But there is questions about Jalen Duren, Ausar Thompson, and Jaden Ivey. I believe in these players. I believe in Jaden Ivey in this comeback. I believe in it. I believe that Jaden Ivey is going to be a fantastic player this year. He's only shown that. And you talk about adversity, I feel like he went through more adversity going and dealing with everything that some people call him a traitor. I won't do that. But everything that Monty Williams put him through. Yeah. And think about it. The last 15 games of the season during that Monty experience where he started off on the bench and behind Killian Hayes for somehow, he still found a way to go out there and raise that three-point percentage on high volume. He still went out there and found a way to raise the assist totals. With who was he even playing with? I don't even know. But he still found a way to go out there as really one of your few options. And he found a way to improve and then brought that into the next season with Cade Cunningham underneath JB Bickerstaff, who I got to talk to him at Media Day last year. I was like, bro, effectively, you've been somebody looking at this squad from the outside looking in. Is there something that you got for, you know, as it relates to being able to best utilize the guy like Jaden Ivey? Because JB Bickerstaff had already talked about, on Richard Jefferson's podcast about Isaiah Stewart and Jalen Duren, and I can't wait to be able to utilize that mix. And I was like, but what about Jaden Ivey and Cade Cunningham? Because I didn't know. I didn't know that, like, bro, after seeing what happened with Jaden Ivey, I was like, could this happen again? Is this a book out in the league? No, JB was like, I got some things. I got some things. These guys are dogs. Like, I know what they are. Then what did we see Jaden Ivey do? He stepped out and he put up, honestly, some stats to start the season in which you're just like, yo, he's going to be at 17-4-4, right? On that season. And I think that if he plays it out, you're looking at 18-5. What is it? 17? Yeah, 17.6. So almost 18. For the good players, we do what we round it. Oh, you average 18 points a game. I'm going to do that for my guy Ivy. All right, 18 a game, 17.6, 4 rebounds, 4.1 rebounds, 4 assists. And you know what? Steals. You know what? Hold on, bro. This is what we got to look at here. This is what's important. What's that number there? Do you see that number there?
Yeah, I see it.
What's that?
That's 40% 3-point.
No. We round up for the good players. That's 40.9, which would be 41%.
46 field goals. That's almost 50%.
He's 46% from the field, 41% from 3-point. And you know what else? This is what else you look at, man. This is what else you look at with Jaden Ivey. It's not just that he was hitting the shots, right? It's also that he was taking the shots. He was taking a lot of these boys, too. You look at his 3-point totals on the season. Let's see his per game 3-pointers. He was taking not almost. The most 3-point attempts that he's ever taken per game in a season came last year, and it was 5.1. The previous 3 seasons, 3-pointers, you're looking at 4.7 attempts his first year. He only shot 34.3%. 4.8 attempts his second year, went down to 33.6. In the second half of that season, though, that last 15 games is when he was shooting about 37% from behind the arc. So that 33.6, he skewed up. Remember, he was at like 31% into the last 3 weeks of the season. Then last year, 5.1 attempts per game, 41% from behind the arc. Another thing that I like here as well is Jaden Ivey getting to the line. I want to see him get there a little bit more than he did last year, because his first year, he got to the line nearly 5 times a game, five free throws a game. 5 free throw attempts. That's gone down. It's been about 4 the last couple games. But it's nice to see the other percentages going in the right direction as the volume has increased for Jaden Ivey, as more players have been there. You talk about where's he going to get the ability to do this? Because some people believe what we saw to Jaden Ivey while Cade was injured wasn't what we were going to be able to see out of them when Cade was back. Instead, we saw these guys work well together. Yeah. I thought they worked well together, and I look forward to more of what Jaden Ivey can be, because this is about the belief. Can these guys, Jaden Ivey, Jalen Duren, Ausar Thompson, what type of a leap can they make? I do believe that Jaden Ivey will be a guy that after he gets those legs under him, after he gets back from injury, you look in second half of the season especially, I'm looking at a guy that is going to look like an 18-5-5 type player.
Same here. I can't disagree with you on that, because Jaden Ivey got the potential. He got potential. He was number 4 pick out of Purdue. And this gentleman is like, he got a D-way slashing ability. Now he got a consistent jump shot with it, and he could defend. And if he didn't, whoever the co-athlete did not stand on his leg, he will have a dominant season last year if he didn't get hurt. And now he's fully recovered. I think him and Cade is like Joe Dumars and Isaiah Thomas, Jerry Stackhouse, and Grant Hill back in 99, 2000. Top of those, now you got Rip and Chauncey Billups. Now you got Ivory and Cade Cunningham. We need that duel. And that's one thing about it.
But I do want to ask this, because, I see that, and I want to be able to say, you know what, that's it. That they're going to fall right in line. But we got to ask the other question as well. Are they really that good? I know that Cade Cunningham is well on his way, and it was awesome to see the Detroit Pistons release the video of him putting up his all-star. They got that wall of all-stars. Yeah. And he's like, who got the most of these? And he just stepped back. He was like, oh, Isaiah? All right. You can tell the respect he has. He understands what the standard is, but you can also understand he wants to be able to go and set a new standard. So I believe in Cade Cunningham in that regard. With Jaden Ivey, is it fair to say, you know what? Let's see Jaden Ivey get to 25-5 before we start to put those types of expectations. Because I do believe in him. But do we believe in him as it relates to being legendary? Isaiah and Joe were legendary. Finals MVPs, both of them. Chauncey Billups, legendary. Finals MVP. Richard Hamilton, your all-time Detroit Pistons postseason leading scorer. Legendary stuff. Can Jaden Ivey, you really believe Jaden Ivey can get to that level? Because right now, I think he can get to 18-5-5. I think he can get to the 25-5. But can he get to that level?
If he stays healthy, he can definitely get to that level. If he stays healthy, that's the only thing he had to do is stays healthy. And Cade need help, like we saw last year in the playoffs. So against the New York Knicks in the in the playoffs, he needs help. And Jaden Ivey is the one to get him the Robin, the backman duel type of energy, because he needs somebody to take over offense in case in foul trouble. If Ivy is trying for the Cade took the low and get the team, Cade can't do everything by himself. That's what Jaden Ivey is come here for. He could be a 25-5.
Yeah, and look, and I want to believe in it, but obviously there's a lot that they have to do. And part of what I want to do, especially with this season, now that we have a team of expectations and no longer a team that was rebuilding, this is where now I want to look at, okay, what exactly are these guys going to be? Who exactly can these guys be? And I want to be able to scrutinize it a little bit more than just the belief. When you first draft a guy, you want to believe in him. And that's just who I am as a person. But when you start talking about it, and I see my guy, Anthony Colombo, Mr. Pistons talk, probably the greatest in this space, man. Shout out to him. One of those guys like him, Everything King. These guys blaze trails. These guys set standards. Socials, YouTube, giving us everything that we want. Keep the real about our squads, whether we agree or disagree on certain points and such. People like Pistons Talk in that platform, Anthony Colombo, and people like Everything King, they have done a lot in this space and set the standard. So I just want to make sure I say shout out to them. But Pistons Talk puts, he heard Ivy rejected a contract extension from the Pistons. Looks like he's going into the season with a chip on the shoulder to prove himself. One, shout out to the Pistons for extending the whatever they extended. Two, I know this. If Ivy's worth it, they will pay him. They're not letting him. They're not gonna let him walk out of here. If he's worth it, and this is me, just my belief, kind of being around things, understanding how they've believed in him. I think that this is a year where you go out there and you prove it. You know, you're coming back from injury, and it's no different than, and I know this is different levels, because we look at Aiden Hutchinson of the Lions of being transcendent. We already know he's going to be one of those guys where we're wondering, is Jaden Ivey going to reach that star level as well? But what did they even do with Hutch coming off the leg injury? Like, go out there and prove it. We got to let you go. Like, no, you're a Detroit kid. Jaden Ivey has Detroit in his blood. Jaden Ivey has Michigan in his blood. Jaden Ivey has Detroit Lions in his family. Yes. He has championship-winning basketball. Shout out to the shot. Shout out to Jaden Ivey. In his blood already. His grandma still got a shop here, bro. Like, I think that Jaden Ivey wants to be here. And good on him for saying, I believe that I can be more. Yeah. Yo, good on him. I want to see him go out there. I really want to see him go out there. I see Mr. My City. He said, Pistons talk. Whoa, Pistons talk is the man. He is the man. But that's where I do, though. With Jaden Ivey, I think that this is a year where when you talk about somebody who's shown adversity, I overcome that. You know, all the aspects of what his game can or can't be. Is he going to be able to shoot? We saw him go out there and knock down nearly 41% on 5.1 attempts in the limited games he played. And I promise you, I don't even think he was comfortable yet. No. I just think he's just a worker. He's just a worker. And that's where I'm like, you know what? I will believe in him. I will believe in him. And I see Mr. My City, man. He's saying, I remember the moment Ivy said, I want to be a Piston for life. And for me, it's not just about people saying it. It's about what are you going to do to work at it? Because I think Ivy understands being from around here, being from around this culture, having this in him. If you say you want to be a Piston for life, it's not nothing sweet. No, this ain't nothing cushy. I think he knows I have to go out there and put in a certain amount of work. Yeah. So when he said that and then got sent to the bench, I talked to him on the Pistons practice floor. Shout out to the Pistons, man. I talked to him and I asked him, like, bro, how are you staying locked in right now? He looked up at the wall and he said, look, this stuff we put up on the wall, and it was about determination, hustle, grit, and things like that. He said, this stuff is real to me. And whatever my team needs me to do, whatever they ask me to do, I will do it. I will stay ready. Did he pout? No. Did he get worse? No. When his number was called ultimately in that season underneath the one that won't be named, he stepped up. And then what did he do the next year? He showed, bro, I've been working all off season. And what do you think he's going to show this season? That he's been working. So I don't know if he's necessarily going to reach the legendary status. Do I want him to? Yes, obviously. I don't know if he's going to reach it there. The next step for Jaden Ivey, in my opinion, is get to that 18-5-5 and be that dynamic playmaker, or not playmaker, that dynamic, just, you know what? I'll say playmaker, scoring or facilitating. Just be that dynamic player next to Cade Cunningham. And we saw flashes of that last year that really worked well. They want to bring that double team. Well, now you got Jaden Ivey downhill with the ability now to show I can pass too. Those 4 assists per game, I'm not sneezing at it.
It could be pick up a 5. It could be pick up a 5 or 6 assists per game. So in that case, hey, Cade's numbers go dip a little bit on assists, and his scoring will be more up. It's a hand-to-hand pick. It's called chemistry. If you don't have chemistry, how you gonna get the team? And I think him and Jaden Ivey have chemistry together when they go out on the floor. We saw that for shades of it in 3 years, and just didn't get a chance. Like Jaden Ivey, when the other coach didn't come in and didn't believe in him, it make it more. It doesn't show it when JB Bickerstaff came in. It shows that they are a pair that we dealt with on a backcourt. They are an Eastern Conference threat in the backcourt, and people don't understand that. And when Jaden and Cade are together healthy, it's a dangerous backcourt for any other opponents in the NBA team.
Think about it, man. Like, what Ivy was at almost 18 a game. Cade was at what point wise? 24 a game. 24. Think about that. And just confirm that for me real quick if you can, man. Because you're looking at 42 points from that backcourt. I believe that this is a backcourt that can get to that 50-point combined. And when you look at some of the backcourts in Detroit Pistons histories, 26.1. I'm sorry, Cade. 26. My bad. That's right. It was 26.1. I remember reciting those numbers like 40 going north last season. I'm sorry I took those 2.1 points per game from you. So you're talking about 26.1 and 17.6 for Jaden Ivey. Yo, They're right there. I want them to get to that 50 mark though. They're about 5 points, 5, 6, 7 points away from that per game. I think that they can get there, man. I really do think that they can get there. But you don't cry about it if they don't. If they're sitting there next year, Cade still 25 plus a game, Jaden Ivey 18 to 20 plus a game. That's a dynamic backcourt on high efficiency, or at least good efficiency. You're going to get probably a little bit better three-point shooting out of Jaden Ivey, but I think that Cade Cunningham's three-point shooting actually gets better when he's playing with guys like Jaden Ivey. Now, I got to ask you about another guy.
Go ahead.
Who do you think is the most pivotal? Because we're going to talk about both of these guys, but I'll let you determine which one we talk about first. Who do you believe is the most pivotal player to the Pistons' success this year? Ausar, in terms of them needing to make the next leap, the next jump. Ausar Thompson or Jalen Duren?
Both. It's both.
Oh, you're not accepting one.
I go, but you want me? I'm biased when it comes to big man in basketball.
Give me one. Talk about it.
I gotta go for Jalen Duren. He shows a lot of promises offensively and the energy guy, but he needs to polish his game offensively.
Chat putting both. They're not going on, bro.
Exactly. Of course. So Thompson is a switch army knife. He could play defense. He could score a bucket. He could shoot a perimeter shot.
Yeah.
But he need to be consistent offensively, as well as defensively. Because I saw him giving Jalen Brunson the flux in the playoffs because his mismatch, his 6 is long. His long arms, and he's 6'8". He could play all 4 positions defensively.
5.
You're right.
He can guard the 1 through 5 with Ausar Thompson.
The guy's defensive is magnificent. But Jalen Duren need to be consistent, not getting in foul trouble like he did last year in the playoffs. And his rebounding is always solid. But his offense ability, he goes off of alley-oops, tip dunks off the pick and roll. But he needs to work on a post game. He needs a jump hook. And he did work on his three-point shot last previous summer. But he needs more inside threat. If he want to go one-on-one on a block, he could spin move or drop step or easy bucket, because people stay away in the post game. People want to go to three-point shooter, but the easy 2 points, they need a little bit more of the power game.
Because you know what? Everybody can shoot today, right?
Yeah, everybody can shoot.
But who's equipped to stop? What is he now? 7 feet, probably.
7 feet. He grew.
Stocky. Who's equipped to stop that? He's younger than them. Who's equipped to stop that in the middle? There's not a lot of teams equipped to stop what Jalen Duren can be. That's why sometimes Andre Drummond's best year, I don't care about stats. The best that where people resonated and said, bro, I see some motor there. Some more than I ever saw before. It was on Rasheed Wallace and the School of Dunk Everything was his assistant coach. And it seemed like his job was just get Drummond to play with some type of passion. And not that Jalen Duren doesn't play with passion, but this is one similarity that I do believe they share between Drummond and Duren. They don't know that they're the biggest motherfuckers out there. You, Jalen Duren, are the biggest dude. There's not someone that's hanging with you. If you decide, drop step, 2 hands up, dunk, that's yours. Bro, buddy. I've seen him get pissed off, man. And then all of a sudden, he at the top of the key, he gets the ball, fakes a pass, 2 dribbles to the rack, and then he's scoring. That, to me, is where I agree with you. When you're talking about Jalen Duren, I do believe that one of the key things I want to see out of him is what is he going to be offensively? Not that offense is everything, but he and Cade, to be fair, were the #1 lob connection last year in all of the NBA. And I do believe that if you start making him a little bit more like a short floater, a short push shot, maybe even like shout out to Matt Shepard of the Braylon and Matt Shep show, Braylon Edwards with Matt Shepard show, 2 to 4, Monday through Friday. Tap in. I'm in the TV booth. On Woodward Sports. So shout out to them. Or even on X's and Bros, Matt Shepard's other thing. He's consistently talked about the fact that he wants to see Jalen Duren develop that 10 to 16 foot game. I want to be able to see him have just if we need it, because you know what happens in the playoffs? You might not see this a lot during the regular season, but what do you see in the playoffs? How many times all of a sudden it's ISO ball? It's Cat with the ball, or it's freaking Brunson with the ball, or it's Cade with the ball. And bro, like if you had a Jalen Duren, who's going to be one of your bigger best men, one of your bigger best big men in the one of your better big men in the league, think about if we had moments where we could say, Cat got 4 or 5 fouls. Remember, there was a time during that playoff series. They did not go to Duren at all. They didn't press the issue.
They didn't have faith. On offense. They did not have faith.
See him take that lead.
That's why the Pistons need to trust Jalen Duren. If Jalen Duren work on his offensive game, all he needs a mid-range and an inside post game. Post, I don't care. 2 points is 2 points, no matter what. But he know how to use his body. He's 6'10", 200.
He's taller now.
He's 7 feet.
Bro. He looked like he's 7 feet off the stuff I saw. Like, shout out Downtown Deuce as well. He posted this to his socials. If y'all don't follow him, man. Downtown Deuce. And he posted like is Duren taller? It was a picture of Cade and Duren from like 2 years ago versus like this year. And Duren looks taller, bro. He looks taller.
I see him. He can't fit in that Dodge Ram.
Look at this. I see Jay Hart. Is it true that Duren grew to like 7'1" now? Look, man.
We got to figure out.
Media Day is around the corner. You know, I'm going to be there. Can't wait to be there. Shep and I are going to try and get some interviews this year. So shout out to Matt Shepard as well. He doesn't even have to help me with Pistons coverage, but his proximity being here. And I've seen Shep over the years, man. He's given me advice through the years on this journey. And so it's awesome now to be able to work with both him and T. Foss on this Pistons stuff. So it's just pretty dope. And I see it. JR says, "Gee, so it is true." But let me see here. ACG, yes, Kool-Aid. The pocket passes to Ausar going to open up his game too. You know what? All right. Let me close up this as it relates to what I want to see Duren get better at. Because, yes, think about this. They're already the number one lob connection. What if they could just be the number one connection, period? You're talking about modern day. Not that Cade is far better than Stockton. But I'm just talking about in terms of, remember, they couldn't stop Stockton and that dude. Yeah, that guy. I won't say his name.
Oh,
shout out to his daughter who won a championship here. Yeah. You know, but show for it. But you know, Malone, he was able to finish at the rim, dunk you through the rim, layup, or the pick and pop. And so imagine if you have a Duren who I believe is even trending to be one of your better passing bigs, if not already one of your better passing bigs in this league. Imagine if he had that. He would be nearly unstoppable because he'd be able to score for bigs that call it all three levels. That's your free throw, that's your floater, that's your all the way in the paint. I'm not necessarily talking about 3-point shots. He'd be able to score at all of those and operate or pass out of all three of those levels. And then you're talking about going from being Lob City, number one connection, to just being the number one connection, period. When Cade and Duren when it's their two-man game, all of a sudden it's trouble. Because what you going to do? You're going to leave Duncan Robinson open? You're going to leave Karis LeVert open? You're going to leave if Jaden Ivey is hot? You leaving them? That's the whole point. And then this is what I love about the action. It's not just the fact that Ausar can do the pocket pass. I mean, that Jalen Duren can drop the pocket pass to Ausar. It's also about the fact that the movement and the motion and the gravity that's created with a Duren and a Cade pick and roll, now they're on the map. People know, bro, watch out for them. Who's back door? You know who's going to get forgotten about? Ausar. He's going to be the one to get forgotten about. Mm-hmm. That's the whole point because they're going to stick to the shooters. And Ausar, which we saw sometime last year, can get right back door and they would toss the ball up to him. Go back and look at some of the stuff, especially to start the season. He was catching more lobs. He was catching stuff more downhill coming from the kind of corner 3-point, and not the side corner, but the diagonal 3-point line. And so I do believe that Jalen Duren getting that 10 to 16 foot offensive game together, having a little bit of reliability in the post, I do believe that this is going to help him tremendously take that next step. And I know defensively people want to see more, but I think that that's a process. There's certain aspects that's instinct, and then everything else has to be taught. And we saw there's a lot that he has to be taught. He has the size, he has the athleticism, and I do believe that he took some marginal steps forward in the right direction for me to be comfortable enough with where his defense is already. I am. It's offensively where I do believe him taking a little bit of a step is a big step forward for the Pistons. Just as easy as being able to be a threat. If you can hit one pick and pop a game, 1 out of 2 or 3, to be a threat. Or one, because then the pump fake, the stuff that I see Duren working on in practice the last 2 seasons, he works on this stuff. So it's not like if he starts doing this, it's just coming out of nowhere. No, he works on that jump shot. He works on the pick and pop. He works on these things already. He looks good at it, but it's different when you're in practice. So, versus the game. So Jalen Duren, I do believe he's going to take a little bit of a leap forward next year, but it might not look necessarily the way I want it to look. I do believe, though, we're going to see a more consistent double-double guy. I do believe we're going to see a person who's just a little bit more of a menace defensively in that paint, a little bit more physical, understanding how to utilize and leverage his physicality without getting into the foul trouble. Because that's the component of it there. He's going to have to be able to stay out of foul trouble. And the number one thing, the numero uno thing that I need from Jalen Duren this year, stamina. Yeah. Got to get your stamina up. You're going to get the minutes. You're going to get the money. You're one of the best bigs in this league. There's not too many young bigs that are better than you. So stamina is something that he's going to have to get, especially if you're going to be in those pick and rolls with Cade. Think about how many people he's going to be screening. You see what I'm saying? And one of the things that was tough was that for a while, Stewart was the only one who could set a bones-jarring screen. I saw Duren step into that a little bit more last year. So I want to see his physique. I want to see his physicality. I want to see his stamina, those things. That's kind of what I want to see him take the leap in. So before we move to Ausar, any other words on Jalen Duren?
Jalen Duren, if he utilized what he got, God gave it to him, he could be a 20 and 10 guy in 2 blocks per game. Alonzo Mourning type. If he used what he was given, he won't have to defend on athleticism. He got the athleticism. Yeah. He need to use his body to move people out the way if you want to score. Yeah. If he wants to down.
Sheesh, you know what? I don't think I shut out KG earlier. I don't know why they just hit me. But shout out KG, man. We had some fun times. We're gonna I'm gonna be getting him in on some of these streams as well. I'll be getting in early before the Braylon Edwards show with Matt Shepard some days these weeks to get some content with KG. And then some days I'm gonna stay after to be able to get some Pistons content in with some of your favorite Pistons people here at Woodward. Shout out to Anson and shout out to Chris Platty. I love talking hoops with those guys. And in the future, I got some other stuff kind of going on right now too. Hopefully we can get those things more concrete. But it's going to be some stuff that I know you guys are going to enjoy and you guys are going to like. But you know what? There's some people who, chat family as well. Put in the chat what you guys think about Jalen Duren. What does a leap next year or this season look like for Jalen Duren? What does a leap look like for Jaden Ivey? I want to see what you guys think. What's the scoring? What's the rebounds? What's the assists? What's the effects? Are they taking a step forward on defense? I can't wait for it, man. Jay Hart says the AT leap, as we're going on now to Ausar Thompson, he says it's going to shock the world. Like, I don't think people really understand how improved he's about to look right out of the gate. I hope so. And Jay Hart, the reason why I do actually tend to agree with you a little bit here as it relates to that right out of the gate is because when has Ausar Thompson had the ability to do anything right out of the gate? Especially last year. He had the blood clot thing that kept him out of being able to work out all off season effectively. And so now you got a guy who found a way to catch his NBA rhythm and footing during the season. And now he gets all off season to just work at basketball stuff. And he's already an alien. That's all he does. I remember his introductory press conference and we were like, so, what do you do in your free time? He literally started to malfunction like a robot, bro. He was like, I hoop. It was just like, I like this guy. He was like, I hoop. It was just like that. He was like, sometimes I go to a court by my house here. And I'm just like, wait, so this guy's going from practice to hooping. That type of stuff to me is why I really believe in Ausar Thompson. And I don't know what a leap is supposed to look like for Ausar Thompson. This is why I want the chat to help me out with him too, because his impact is one in which we've seen when we need the usage up and Cade sat down and we saw point Ausar, he just stepped into it and there he goes. He just did it. Yeah. We were like, wow, way to go. And then all of a sudden you need him to be the defensive anchor. And then all of a sudden he's that. Then all of a sudden you need him to go out there and grab rebounds. He's doing that. You need him to block shots at the rim. He's doing that. I think that's what it is for him. As we're looking for Jaden Ivey to fill back into that role, as we're looking for people to take a certain leap as it relates to behind the, shooting from behind the arc, especially with Beasley maybe in or out. We don't know. This is where you really want to see Ausar Thompson just continue to be that utility knife. More of like a super Tayshaun Prince, in my opinion. Yeah. You want to see the offensive game get better because Tayshaun he was efficient offensively. Yeah. But I do believe when you're looking at a guy who can be that just Swiss Army knife, that to me is what Ausar Thompson is. Beyond the defense. Defense, obviously, is the calling card. His job is to defend the number ones so your shooters don't have dead legs by the end of the game. You don't want Cade chasing nobody around. You don't want Jaden Ivey, especially in a year where he's coming back. You don't want Karis LeVert and Duncan Robinson with dead legs. You want Ausar Thompson to be the one to chase him around because we just don't see this guy lose any stamina. I don't know what it is. He is an alien. And this is where, to go back to J Hart's point, and I see he put the bingo in there. He never had a real offseason or a training camp. Now, all of a sudden, Ausar Thompson gets that. The type of worker he is. He's made improvements without this already. People outside of Detroit are saying, no matter what we think about Detroit, we do believe Ausar Thompson going to be special. And so, let me know what you want to see as it relates to the steps that are made in his game this season. One of the things I do want to see is him become a more adept facilitator and, ball handler. I don't know if that's him getting the opportunities or if that's something he has to do behind the scenes to make his coach that much more comfortable with it. But I do believe that Point Ausar is even that much better because then you're able to put the balls in his hands, put the basketball in his hand, and surround him with better shooters. When the ball's in Cade's hand, obviously, Ausar Thompson right now with the three-point shooting not being where we want it to be, that's one less shooter on the court. If you put the ball sometimes in Ausar's hands, you get a pretty good catch and shoot three-point shooter in Cade Cunningham that he can pass it to. And you're talking about a guy who, based on whatever the defensive matchups are, Ausar Thompson might be defended by a slow-footed, bigger 3 or 4 or a smaller 4 who really can't stay with him. So I'm looking forward to who he can be when JB Bickerstaff needs to call like those adjustments. I think that he's the adjustment buster. Yeah. You're talking about people who are already going to believe, all right, you got to throw the double team at Cade with a chip. You're going to see people pay a little bit more attention to Jaden Ivey. I do believe that Point Ausar is something that can really help, just the same way we like to see when Jalen Duren, right? They would double team Cade. He would throw it to Duren at the free throw line. Then we saw pocket pass Duren was born. I do believe that Ausar Thompson has the ability, because we've seen it in flashes, to be this so much more consistently. And I want to see him get improved with the ball handling, especially in the ISO. He has pet moves. And so I noticed he's not as comfortable with the ISO yet. Can he do it? Yes. But it's usually when a person knows just cut off the drive left to right, he's going to drive hard downhill left because he can go with either hand, but it's predictable. On the left side, he's going to hard downhill left. And if he can get you with the quick shimmy, he'll boom, and then this way, he's good. But that's why we always see him do what when he gets to the post? The spin move. That's why we see that. That's why we see it, because you see players now trying to beat him to his spot because the ISO bag. Is he fast and is he athletic enough to get away with that sometimes? Yes, and that's where you see him do the spin move, and he does a little short jumper. What if he had the bag to be able to get all the way to the rack and put someone through the rim? Because we know he has the athleticism and the strength. Yeah. And that's where I do believe that him increasing that ball handle and that facilitation will help him be able to take that next step. Like, I know the easy answer is three-point shooting. Yes, we want to see him be able to shoot better. They hired Fred Vincent before they even hired a head coach. So they're going to be working at that. But with Ausar Thompson, I think that's number one. He has so few holes in his game that it's just like, and with the role he's going to be playing, that's where I want to see him be something that is more of a plus and not something where you're trying to or having to hide him at all on the offensive side.
Ausar Thompson is definitely a Swiss Army, like I was saying before, and what he needs can't be a robot. He can't be a robot when it comes to doing what you got to do. He's got one switch and just go. Yeah. All he needs is a offense. He needs to polish his offensive game more. He got the defense. He could average a block and a steal a game and shut down the best scorer on a different team like he did at Jalen Brunson. He needs to be consistent in his confidence. It's all about confidence when you offense. When you're not confident of your offense, you're making mistakes. You don't want to take the shot without thinking. Mm-hmm. You think about, if you think you make mistakes when you want to do it. If you're already playing what you're going to do on offense, like you go to jab step and go. Yeah. If I see a mid-range and I see a glass, I'm going to take that shot without thinking about it. If it is, it is. If it's don't, okay, keep going hard.
Yeah, because he has the ability to make moves. He has the speed, the athleticism, and you can tell he's trained. But it's the instinctual offense that we want to see him be able to probably take. That's probably the best word. You do want to see his handles get better, but it's the instinctual offense that you want to see him take advantage of. And that, to me, is where he's going to absolutely become a monster. That is what I believe leads some people to believe that Amen Thompson may be the better player between the two. And it's because I do see instinctually Amen Thompson has it ISO-wise. It's a little bit different confidence ISO-wise and ability. And I do believe Ausar Thompson can get there. Jay Hart says JB, as JB Bickerstaff, Pistons head coach, was big on all of his guys on the floor being able to push the ball and start to break. So I can definitely see a heavy emphasis on ball handling for our primary core guys. I can too. I really can too. And, the number one player that I know people want to see improvement out of, and we got to say his name, is Cade Cunningham. Even if he's the all-star, even if he's a star, even if he took the big steps forward, even if we know we do not get there without one Cade Cunningham, you still need to see your star player being the example and setting the standard as it relates to year-by-year improvement. That's where I want to see Cade Cunningham go into the season and really start to show progress, show positive trend as it relates to the turnovers. I want to see Cade Cunningham be more of what he planted, the seed that he planted his rookie year. Yeah. He came in his rookie year and was one of the top 5 clutch players in all of the NBA. Not amongst rookies, the entire NBA. And since then, it's been a little bit of a struggle, and that's because why? The attention has gone up. His rookie year, Jeremy Grant was here, and he was taking a lot of usage, especially at the end of games, and allowed Cade to be able to just, who was this guy? And KD early on, Kevin Durant was like, bro, because remember, Cade and KD had this one game where they were going back and forth, and ultimately the Pistons failed. But KD was like, bro, that dude Cade though, he's it. And now you see him stepping into that. That's where I don't want him to hurt himself or take away from his opportunities at all. In the game opportunities, whether he's passing or whether he's shooting, he needs to be doing one of those. And the turnovers at the end of games, especially, sometimes it's timely. In the beginning of the game, you're trying to get into a rhythm. You don't want to see your team start off bad, and sometimes turnovers can do that. But at the end of games, especially where the trajectory was that Cade Cunningham is going to be one of your better clutch time players in all of the NBA, what did we see last year? We just saw in these playoffs, Jalen Brunson won the Kia NBA Clutch Player of the Year. And you look at his turnovers. The dude doesn't turn the ball over, especially in crunch time. So you're talking about a guy who you can put the ball in his hands and you know he's making the right play almost every single time. That's what sunk the Pistons. We could talk about bad referee play. We could talk about a missed call on Tim Hardaway. But what sunk the Pistons was their inability to play in the pressure moments. That was it. And the New York Knicks having a player in Jalen Brunson who was cold as ice. That dude wasn't turning the rock over. That guy was hitting his free throws. That guy was hitting the freaking off-balance shots and then making the plays off of that when necessary. And that's what I believe maturation-wise with Cade Cunningham. You want to see Cade Cunningham step into that type of a place. Before we talk about any other stat going up, even three-point shooting, I want to see the turnovers go down and the clutch moments improve. That's what I want to see because I believe that type of Cade Cunningham, when you talk about, well, can Cade Cunningham get his average up to 28 or 30 points a game? I believe in those clutch moments alone, yes, there's 4 points per game. I don't think he has to take from any other part in the game. Just those clutch moments, that 1 or 2 turnovers in the clutch, that's just 4 points right there. Think about that because how many times has he taken away from himself the opportunity to even get a free throw? And so that's what I'm saying. I don't want to make it too big because you talk about maybe 1 or 2 a game, but they've been crucial. We've seen the Detroit Pistons lose some close games, and we want our leader. We want Cade Cunningham, not just because it's the right basketball play, not just because it's the right thing to do to improve, but also the mental. This is something that you're going to see people continue to harp on. So if a turnover happens, even in the beginning, oh, man, Cade with the turnover, you're going to see people doing that right at the beginning of the season. Yeah. And that, to me, is where it's like from multiple perspectives, from just him as a player, from natural progress, from what it does for your team, you want to see him improve. And then, obviously, for the sake of our lovely Detroit Pistons fans, you want to make sure that you see a Cade Cunningham who, from that standpoint, is more sure of himself. I wonder how much of that is how and when to deal with the double teams and how and when to drive the pace faster. Not necessarily running faster, but getting to your marks, getting into your sets, and pushing the issue. Play at the same speed, but maybe not walk it up the court. Maybe you're like, you know what? we're getting into a set right now. Well, you know what I mean? Because my coach, there were times when we knew your offense is dragging, and he would be like, look, we're calling the play right now. From the time we take the ball out, start the play. Get into it. I don't, because usually, you know, you walk down and you'll see them call the play at about half court. You know, 5, fist. Shout out Kobe. You'll see that half court, and sometimes your players aren't even getting energy. Even the Pistons, they used to do that. But when you got to energize the bunny, you're the old Pistons, Woodward Pistons, and Richard Hamilton, it didn't matter. So everyone could walk up with no energy. But when you got a young team, I think they feed off energy. When you look at young players and they actually get the upset, like the select team over the Cade select team over the US team, where were they getting the wins? It was all of transition. Yeah. They weren't setting up and running plays. You know why? Because that's the actual US Olympic team got straps. That's why. I'm not trying to let's set up and go up against them. No, when you're playing like teams like the Bucks, even Orlando, heck no. Run. Run. Get out and overall, it's like, man, I want to see the squad. I want to see the squad really, really kind of get into that precipice, especially behind a guy like Cade, who I'm hoping, him being able to pick up the pace just a little bit, or getting into these things, getting the team into these things. They know already, all right, we're going down. This play is supposed to be for Jaden Ivey already, or pick and roll already with Jaden Ivey. Like, even before the play is called, just run a pick and roll 2 times. Bink, bink. All right, Jaden Ivey, make sure that this guy is feeling this pick and roll. So the next time we come down and we call pick and roll, you know what Cade is really good at? The in and out. You knew it was coming. So then think about the next time down. Now all of a sudden he's shifting a guy into the pick, not even using it. Those are the types of things that you want, because it sets things up even better for your less heralded ball handlers, your less heralded facilitators. So then all of a sudden Jaden Ivey, he's going to get the same benefit. So when he goes to a pick and roll, and that defender knows Jaden Ivey been swacking people, Jaden Ivey been swacking people today off these pick and rolls, it helps tremendously. And so that's why I do believe Cade Cunningham setting the tempo and setting the tone from the get-go, going and putting his guys in position. Like Chauncey Billups was really good at that. Really good at that. There were times where he's like, I'm going to Ben Wallace first play of the game. I don't care. I don't care. I'm going to feed Ben Wallace first 2 or 3 plays of the game. And they said, why? Because even though he's already an all-world defensive player, for some reason it make him play even better. It make him play even better. And Chauncey talks about the tactics that they used in the postseason, like even going to the refs talking about, give Sheed a tech because it make him play better. Same thing with Ben Wallace. And that's where I do want to see Cade, since he is a natural facilitator, he looks for his guys first. I'm going to see him go out there and be able to make that a part of one of the biggest improvements we've seen from him. Lower those turnovers to give yourself a little bit more opportunity to make plays. Make plays. What do you think about Cade, though?
That's all you need.
Yeah.
That's all you need. That's all you need. He got the way that quiet assassin look. He always he needs to lead. All he has to do is lead his team. What he does, he ready to do it like Tim Duncan. He ready to do it quietly and live by example, and that's fine. Or if he wants to be more vocal, he, even though he's a point guard, he can play all 3 positions. He gonna let his team know, come on, let's go. Let's get it. Let's get it going. Let's get it. Let's turn up the volume. And y'all saw him. He get more interact with people with a different opposite team. He got that I don't show no respect on the court look. Even though he looks presentable and how he carries himself, he got that competitive nature, that competitive dog in him to let him know I want to win. If he want to get better, he needs his team to evolve his leadership. That's all he needed does.
You know what? That leadership, he's the connector. That's why he's here. And we see players get better around him, in my opinion. I think this is the year where we're really going to see that. And what I like is that you got the players looking to work out with him, looking to create some type of chemistry with Cade, and following his lead naturally. This is one of the things JB Bickerstaff talked about with Cade, is that he doesn't have to force it. It doesn't feel gimmicky. He's not having to go. The guys just follow him. They believe in his lead, and he works his tail off too. And then he goes out there and performs it on the court. So, look, that's when you're talking about your nucleus, you're talking about Jaden Ivey and Jaden Duren, who the Pistons, there's decisions to be made now. And I think that this is a chip on the shoulder year for both Jaden Duren and Jaden Ivey. believe that both of them are going to go out there and earn contracts from the Detroit Pistons, reputable ones. And if they do, then you're looking at a Pistons squad who, for as bad as the restore era was, it's going to be well worth it. Especially with you already having Cade locked in. That max deal starts for him next year. I know some people that don't like talking about the contracts, but with the contracts comes expectations from outsiders and from insiders who believe that Cade Cunningham should reach a certain precipice. I do gotta ask you this. Even though the things I'm going to see him improve at have nothing to do with stats increasing, I do believe his stats are going to increase. Do you believe we're going to see a Cade Cunningham will this Pistons team to top 4 in the East and have himself at least top 6 in the MVP conversation? Or is that too bullish?
They got 2 bullets with hollow tips on it. That's basically it. I think it's top 3 in my opinion, because the East is up for grabs, and because you got New York, you got Cleveland, and Milwaukee. Detroit's still up there, and I think they got a team. They got 2 different players. Detroit still got their unit, and when they got their unit, I think it's a top team for it. And Cade, he could be top 5 MVP bowling. Be honest with you, because he gonna step up every year. He gonna make sure that he gonna contribute every night when he can. And once his team gets the win in numbers, like the top team in the East, his name gonna be in the MVP voting because he gonna dominate. He got a dominant mentality. So he needs to get his unit together and follow his lead. That's it.
Yep. No, I like that, man. And ultimately, just as we wrap up, shout out to JB Bickerstaff, man. I can't wait till we get to talk to him on Media Day. He's been one of the coaches I've enjoyed talking to the most during this journey. Obviously, Dwayne Casey was an awesome one. He gives you some really in-depth, answers and personable ones. Like you could tell he's trying to give you things that help you as a writer, help you as a reporter. And I appreciate Dwayne Casey for that and always will. He's a great man. I will definitely go on record as saying that. And shout out to him for what he continues to do for the Detroit Pistons organization. Obviously, Monty Williams was a tough cookie. That was a tough one to crack as a reporter. You got to the point where his answers were exactly the same every night, and I was just like, dang. And the press conferences were like a minute or two questions, and it was like, okay, I'm not even gonna go in here and ask nothing because it's not even a purpose. It felt like that sometimes with JB Bickerstaff, though. I'm just like, dog, this guy, not only just his persona, but his basketball mind. Like, he's a guy that needs to have JB Bickerstaff basketball camps for like years and generations to come, because his basketball mind is just that on point. You see how quickly he took our kids, our babies here, our Detroit Pistons on rookie contracts and turned them in 1 year, bro, into a top 6 team in the East, and a squad that a lot of people are saying they have a much better future. ESPN, you showed me earlier the futures. They moved them up 11 spots from 29th to 18th as the top, the outlooks over the next 3 years. I think that's underrated, but they're telling you, show us again, though. I think they will because of a coach like JB Bickerstaff. I do. So our next stream, I'm going to talk about JB Bickerstaff in particular. But just before we get out of here, I see Matty Fresh says someone asked about Beasley's status at the Board of Governors meeting, and the answer they got was they don't expect Beasley to sign with the team anytime soon until that investigation is resolved. I do believe that, hey, Pistons got to have, they got to be the leaders in the clubhouse. So if you want them, you got to believe they could probably get him. He's here. He renewed his lease here. He had his best shooting season here. The playoffs, man. I remember the shimmies because I'm not gonna have revisionist history here, man. I remember though LCA was rocking.
Yeah,
it was rocking. I would go down from my media seat down to the floor and just look up. Like, y'all remember the post game videos and such from the floor? I would go down early. Usually I step down with the last few seconds. This one was different. Real meaningful playoff basketball in the LCA. You talking about Ben Stiller sitting right here walking past us saying what up, though. You talking about Spike Lee saying what up, though. Video bombing me in the post game videos and stuff. I had to go down, bro, and it was just like, yo, this is dope. This is crazy.
It's the Detroit atmosphere, man. It's the Detroit atmosphere. It's that Cartier Ice Out Gator boots. You know what I mean? We don't rock nothing fake out there.
Hey, got my non-letter Gators on.
Yes, indeed. You gotta get your buffs ready. Detroit is something different. They got their own style. And that's why the Little Caesars Arena be rocking like that, because we don't pretend to be nobody else but Detroiters, Detroit sports fans. So in that case, we give you that energy. We not gonna fake it out where we are. That's how Detroit sports fans are, especially in Pistons fans in the Little Caesars Arena. We gonna show out no matter what. That's the event. Every game in the Detroit Pistons era is an event that show out, and that's one thing about being a Detroit fan. We not sugarcoat what we are. We like it or we don't. Plain and simple.
Hey, drop that mic, man. And thank you guys for being here. If you're on Twitter, X, definitely navigate over to Woodward Pistons on YouTube if you can. Give this stream a like, subscribe if you're not already subscribed. We're definitely gonna have some fun things here. We're gonna get Rob Beer back on the channel, working to get some of the guys I'm in the media room with on here as well. Some more. You guys know I was had Cody Davis on last season. He is the Detroit News Pistons beat writer over there. Good guy. Want to get Hunter Patterson on as well, The Athletic. I got to get something done with Omar Sankov. I had him on a couple times last year, the Free Press, one of the best in the space. He is the tenure over there right now amongst the Pistons media, amongst the beat writers. He's the longest tenure now. So shout out to him. And I see Matty Fresh. Now, let me see, Mr. Moncy, say y'all boys be smooth. Thank you, brother. Thank you, man. You too, bro. And Matty Fresh, missed these lives. Excited to get some over Pistons content. Yes. And again, I apologize, man. A lot of change going on here at Woodward. Shifted up the schedule. Also, didn't get an opportunity to really just pay attention to the baby. Like, we had a baby Woo crew. Waco Woodward started February 4th. My daughter was born February 3rd. Got no breaks, got no paternity. Lion season was weird. We were just kind of at the end of that. And so got an opportunity to just kind of take a month and a half, get some mornings, because mornings were non-existent. Y'all know Sunday through Friday, every morning, it was crazy. And I was also doing TD for Woodward in Maine.
Yeah.
And then Saturday, shout out, Saturday Sabbath was getting over to church. So it was tough. But I miss this. I love seeing the people here supporting this. I love seeing some of the names. I remember my city, Mr. Jones, Jay Hart, Matty Fresh, man. It's a lot of people in here, man, that I miss interacting with. And I'm going to be Dante 151. I see you. Going to be a whole lot more active, and I can't wait. Like I said, Media Day is in about a week and a day. Media Day. Detroit Pistons. So we're going to have all the content. Stay tapped in with Braylon Edwards Show. Stay tapped in with Woodward Sports. I'm going to have as much content as I can there, and I'm going to continue to try and do these lives. I actually want to be able to do these maybe 2 to 3 times out the week now. So I'm going to try and bring a whole lot more lives, and the content is just going to be budding. I can't wait to get back in the practice building. Training camp starts the day after Media Day. So Tuesday, I should be able to get in there and get some content before I have to rush over here and get on Braylon Edwards Show. So shout out to you guys, man. We're going to continue to try and do this as much as we can. Jay Hart, we appreciate you. He says, glad to see y'all back, bro. Great show, fellas. And Jay Hart, I guess I'm going to try and reach out because I was going to bring you on with Woo. But I think I might have some other ways that I want to be able to help utilize or have you help us here and utilize you as part of this squad, especially with Woodward Pistons right around the corner of the Pistons season. So before we go, I will answer this. I haven't seen this name much in the chat. Josh McGrady, thank you for being here. He says, do you think Ivy finds a leading role in the lineup with Cade, or do you think we are holding him back from his full potential, i.e. James Harden, OKC? I do believe he can find a leading role, and I think it's because of who Cade is. Cade wants to see his dogs do good. Cade will facilitate the heck out of it. He reminds me in some regards in terms of the facilitation as somebody who sometimes I'm like, yo, bro, get into your offense faster. Get into you scoring like in the first quarter. But, Terry Foster told me another great player, a great player in Detroit Pistons history started off the same way like that too, probing and looking for his because he knew I can get mine whenever I want, and that was Isaiah Thomas. He would probe and look for his players to start. So because of who Cade Cunningham is, because of the shooters around it and the way this team is built, because he came into this draft class with Jalen Duren, because they're all young guys and they're like, yo, we're bros. They got that AAU spirit in them. They got that summer league spirit in them. You know what I mean? They're bros. They're all they got. They lost 17 and 13. They won 17 and 13 games. They went through injuries, both of them. I believe that we're going to see them be able to work. Like, I think if they had JB Bickerstaff from the beginning, we would probably see a little bit more cohesion. Or Dwayne Casey wasn't a lame duck coach for them, I do believe we would see a little bit more chemistry and cohesion. But no one's really worked with them until now. And so I do believe that we're going to see Jaden Ivey be able to reach that full potential because there's buckets out there. When you see DeMar DeRozan and Zach LaVine with the Bulls just going out there and going dummy, hey, bro, you want 15 shot attempts? You want 15 too? Sure. Like, when you see that type of stuff, and I believe tremendously more in the potential of Cade and Ivy over LaVine and DeRozan, who I'm not going to disrespect because them boys can score and they can shoot and they get efficient at it as well. But I do believe in who these guys can be because they're a little less unselfish. They're looking to play off of each other. They're looking to play with their teammates. They're looking to get the ball into the shooter's hands because they combined for how many assists last year together? If you got 4 assists per game from Jaden Ivey and 9.1 from Cade. So you're looking at 13. I would like to see that go up a little bit more. Yeah. If Ivy can get to that 5, and if Cade can inch ever so closely to that 10, get a solid 15 to 16 assists per game between that backcourt, with nights of it peaking to 20 assists a night between the two of them, I absolutely believe that that's possible for them. And I do believe that Jaden Ivey, as long as that 3-point percentage stays up in that 38 to 41% range, you're going to see them work. You're going to see them work out very well. He did that on 5.1 attempts. Well, guess what? A high-volume shooter is not here anymore. And Jaden Ivey is not slotted behind Duncan Robinson and Karis LeVert. I'm not saying he's going to shoot the cover off the ball like Beasley, but I'm not sneezing at 41% three-point shooting on 5.1 attempts per game. Beasley was at like that number, like 40% on like 7 attempts per game, which is insane. But I am looking forward to, if the three-point shooting is still there, I believe that obviously bodes the best for them. If y'all remember Ivy, my man was hitting three-point shots off the dribble. Yeah. So good question from you, brother. That's a really good one. I might have to run that one back again next time we talk on the table talk. I'm going to try and get together with my brother Sean Murphy soon. Pistons talk and some others. I got to get with Kuka Hill. I got to get with my brother Eric Vincent of Clutch Points. Shout out Locked On Pistons with Kuka Hill. From Half Court, Sean Murphy. Anthony Colombo Pistons talk. I got to find a way to give my brother Jeff Freddy too. I'm thinking something, man. But shout out to you guys, man. This has been dope. Like I said, if you didn't get the opportunity to, get over to the YouTube as well. Put a like on the stream, subscribe. If you're on Twitter, man, definitely hit the follow button. I'm going to be doing a lot of these from here. Got to figure out how to get this over on the Woodward Pistons account, too. I think I got to, on X, I think I got to get it verified there. Because people are like, oh, you pay for the blue check mark? I can't stream without it. I can't stream to X without it. Shout out to those that pay for it, that don't stream, too. I just teach his own, but I'm probably going to have to pay a little extra now to make sure we get these on the Woodward Pistons X account. So, but we're going to be sending these streams out everywhere we can so you guys can be able to consume this no matter how you want to, man. But I'm appreciative right now. I'm looking at the amount of people here in the live. I was wondering if we was going to have 2 people in here. And, shout out to you guys. So thank you. Go Pistons. I'm always going to wear, my Detroit sports fandom on my sleeve. But I'm always going to be real, too, about them. I'm going to be as real as I can be. So, shout out to you guys for being here. Again, hit that like button, subscribe. Have a blessed day. Go Lions. Beat the Ravens. I don't like birds right now.
Trying to cook the birds.
Hey,
you got to fry. Any last word? We going to fry some Ravens tomorrow night and Monday Night Football. And make sure we get some barbecue sauce with it. After the Lions beat the Ravens.
I don't eat Raven, but we can still fry them up.
Oh, yeah, you can fry them up. They're heavy. So, go Pistons. Go Pistons and go Lions,
Man, Pistons got me on that. The Atlanta Lions, they got me on that backwards hat energy right now.
Oh, yeah, we getting that a Black Air Force Ones ready to serve up some L's. And that's what goes to all the opposite teams against Detroit Spartans. We serve up L's.
And I got to tell the people one day, I'll tell you all about what's going on here, too. There's a lot of things that was going on health-wise, work-wise, a lot of stuff that was going on. But your boy Kool-Aid is good for now, man. Got a good diagnosis. So I'll share more with you guys a little bit later. But shout out to you guys. And Matty Fresh, I see you. He says, I'm headed downtown. To watch the Tigers. Pray for me. They used to have that church that had the banner that said, pray for your Tigers and your Lions.
That church still there.
Yeah.
Still there, but they don't have that pray for the Tigers now.
They're going to have to put that back up, man. Y'all, shout out to you guys for still supporting, man. straight up. So, hey, have a day. It's been Woodward Pistons via Woodward Sports, man. Tap in with Woodward Sports with everything. If you didn't get a chance to watch First to the Whistle, you can head over to Woodward Sports and check that out with Terry Foster and Matthew Broder as the lead host, Willie B, Crash Willie Style in the sound booth, and Detroit Kool-Aid in the TV booth. So thank you guys. I'm going to try and do this every Sunday if we can. I got to figure out how much time we got in between when First to the Whistle ends and the pregame show starts. But I'm going to try and in between that, we'll go live and we'll talk some Pistons. So shout out to you guys, man. Have a good day. Put your Pistons expectations for that core four, the new core four, Cade Cunningham, Ausar Thompson, Duren, Jaden Ivey. Put that in the comment sections. I want to know what you guys think. And we're going to talk about it on the next live stream. Hey, let's rock out. Peace.